Morning, my dear friends, fellow alumnus, ladies and gentlemen. We are already on the threshold of the second month of New Year, which we all sincerely hope will bring us good tidings. Despite 2020 being an unprecedented period in recent times, we managed to stay in touch with each other and create positive pathways for all in this group. For that, a big thanks for your faith and support. As we try hard to put behind us the memories of COVID-19, it is time for renewal and rejuvenation. Let me run you quickly through the ideals on which AABN, the ITA Business Network arm, was built before spelling out our future course and moving on to welcome one and all and introduce you to our distinguished speaker for the day. What began as a fledgling outfit in 2017 to connect professionals on a proactive platform to exchange useful information and contacts also became an informal avenue to meet and listen to game changers in the fields of engineering, marketing, entrepreneurship, and business management through interactive sessions. Thanks to the strong work fundamentals, clear goals, and wonderful camaraderie on which this network was built, we grew in leaps and bounds. A new year called for a fresh look at things. So as a run-up to 2021, the office bearers of ITA and the trustee met on December 6th last year. It was unanimously felt that the time had come to go beyond engineering and expand AABN's wings to cover a larger group drawn from multidisciplines of Annamalai University's alumni. We felt that transitioning from B2B to a B2C network would benefit a larger group of Annamalaians. This paved the way for the baptism of a new movement called Annamalai Alumni Business Network. As advised by the senior members and founding members of ITA, we decided to launch this all-encompassing business network soon after the conclusion of the 6th International Convention of ITA. As you all know, endings always spell new beginnings. Our immediate priority is for this disparate group of people to work in sync to overcome challenges and draw new pathways for the future of this wonderful business community. It is critical that the work we do, besides benefiting this group, also finds resonance in the larger business community outside. As we begin work with renewed vigor, we would aim to achieve and enlighten all our Industry 4 standards for which we seek support and involvement of all. We hope to see the participation of many more entrepreneurs across engineering, agriculture, management, pharmacy, marine, etc., particularly more youngsters from beyond 2K who might be able to add a fresh dimension to our goals. I wish to point out that all alumni meetings are not just about hitting the refresh buttons on old acquaintances. They are also a forum wherein fresh interfaces lead to new hopes for the future. That brings me to today's buzzword, fresh. It has been a recurring word in my introduction. It's a fresh year, fresh faces, a freshly expanded group of professionals, and fresh goals. No wonder we also got an awesome speaker with fresh perspectives on maximizing business potential to address us. Let me extend a very warm welcome to our eminent guest, Sangeetha Shankaran Sumesh, to Citra's business networking session. It would take a good part of today if I have to run through all the achievements of this illustrious business coach, who is the founder and CEO of Gaintastic, which prides itself on value creation for business and individuals connected to the business. This gain enabler believes in making positive impacts, including performances and profits for leaders, teams, small entrepreneurs, and large businesses. At a juncture we find ourselves in today, thanks to the pandemic, there can be no one more fitting than Sangeetha Sumesh to address, enlighten, and take questions from this diverse group on how to grow business and maximize potential and profits. A chartered and management accountant with 25 years of solid experience in leadership roles, her mission over the decades has been to enable, empower, and elevate business. Her resume reads like a wish list. She was formerly ED and CEO in Dun & Bradstreet Technologies, an independent director in IAB Industries, Libara, Sales, PwC, Tupperware, and Alstom. She has crisscrossed the globe as a professional speaker and participated in interactive sessions as a business coach, covering a range of topics that include finance management, financial discipline, focus on profit, leadership development, high-performance startups, and pitching for business. As if all this crazy schedule is not enough, this mother of two and art of living practitioner has also penned a slew of bestsellers such as What the Finance, Get High, A Glance at the Unknown, and The Power of High Performance Coaching. Among the plethora of awards and recognitions she has won, I would like to mention Outstanding Professional by FICCI, leading woman CFO in India, India's most influential woman in finance, innovator in finance, and 100 most inspiring authors of India. From her resume, you sure did understand that this achiever would stop for nothing less than the sky. Yes, reach for the skies is the vibe she spreads through her talk as well. So I'm not going to make you wait longer. We'll let Sangeetha Sumesh take over and regale you with your astute experiences and fresh ideas. Before I wind up, let me once again extend a very warm welcome to all and reiterate that our AABN's doors are always open to those who might want to strengthen our work and their suggestions. I also wish to place on record our deep commitment to work tirelessly as a team to carry forward our goals in a constructive, gratifying way. We also take this opportunity to thank Chemical Industry Association for being the sponsors of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopi. Sangeetha, you can please go ahead.
Okay. Very good morning, everybody.
Morning.
It's such a pleasure to see you all today. And before I get started, I have 3 little requests for all of you. It'll be awesome if you can all please turn on your videos. I would love to see you all, and it gives me a whole lot of energy. So it'll be great if I can see you all. Awesome. Thank you very much. I already see many number of people turning on the videos. Great. So this next 1 hour, I'm going to be taking you through some very interesting things. So I would love it if all your attention is here so that you can gain a lot out of this session. And lastly, I would love to interact with all of you. So you have the chat box, and this is going to be an interactive session. There's no monologue. I would love to hear your viewpoints and your thought processes. So go on and post in your comments in the chat box as we progress. So are you ready? Can we go ahead? Yes,
Please.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So before we even get started, I would like to know from which cities you are from. I know a lot of you are from Chennai, and I heard Mr. Paul, who's from Malaysia. So I would like to know Madurai. Okay, great. Please do put in from which cities you belong to. New Delhi. Okay, awesome. I think Tariq is from Bangalore. Good morning. Yes, Richmond. Okay, great. So we have like a global population. That's amazing. And it's really a privilege to be here and address all of you. So I'm also sure that you all are equally excited because you're all alumni. You've grown up together. So there's nothing like bonding and reconnecting with your batchmates. So on that lovely note, it would be great if you can give a high five to each other. To your right, you can give a high five, and to your left, another high five, so that you can get recharged for the session. Awesome, you guys are great audience, and I really love it. Right. So as a business coach, I have noticed something. Many entrepreneurs, they seem to be having sleepless nights. And why is that? Because they have a lot of trauma. They're wondering, how is it I'm going to pay the next month's salaries, for example, or there's always so much of business hassles that they are being confronted with that amounts to stress and so on and so forth. I'm sure you all would know much better than me. But one thing that I have noticed is, what? This stress that happens, the sleepless nights that are being caused, is because they don't seem to manage their finance well. They're not in control of the financial situation, and they're probably not taking charge of the finances, which is what causes this. And as an easy way out, they even think that, if they were to get an investor to invest in the business, the problems are going to vanish and everything is going to be all right. Now, is that right or not? Yes, I hear a few people showing me the thumbs up. Yes, awesome. So don't worry. We are going to be exactly discussing these things today and see how you can maximize the performance potential of your business. And I would also like you all to think, the amount, I know as an entrepreneur, the kind of efforts that you need to put in, right? It's tremendous. Now, are your earnings in proportion to the kind of efforts that you're putting in? That's something I would like you all to think about, and do let me know in the chat. I would like to know what you think about it. Is it in line with the efforts that you're putting in, right? So that's something I would like you all to think about, because many times I have noticed the amount of efforts that are being put in, to grow the business, to build it, and then in the end you're wondering, what is it I have done so much? Am I even getting enough out of it, right? So that is some thought that many people are left with. So I also want to ask you something, right? Finance. What are your thoughts about finance? Now, many people that I have noticed, whom I've been coaching, tell me, oh, finance is my weakness. Finance is boring. Finance is challenging. It's not my cup of tea, right? So if you are like that, let me know in the chat, because I can tell you something, you are not alone doing that way, right? Because this is something that's pretty common, and a lot of people go through this. So yes, it's true. Yes, yes, absolutely. So don't worry. And I'm here to make things easy for you and simplify it for you. So just relax, sit back, enjoy, see how we can, go through this journey together, and how we can maximize the potential of your business from the finance perspective. So that is what we are going to go through. So before I get started, just give me a moment. I'm going to share my presentation with you so that it will be easier for all of you. And meanwhile, if you would like to take some notes, I would urge you to take a pen and paper and make notes of whatever that's applicable for you. Yes, Shiva says finance is challenging. Yes, it's challenging, but let me see how I can simplify it for you and make it as easy as possible. So that is what I want to do for you today. So one moment, let me just open my presentation, and yes, here we go. So give me a thumbs up if you can see my presentation. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Sure. Sure. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, like I said, how are we going to, maximize our business potential? And I'm going to give you all some takeaways, which is going to be in the form of better financial management, better financial discipline, and also to see if you're planning to seek investments, how is it you should approach investors and how you should be pitching your business. So this is what we are going to be talking about today. And finance, one thing you must realize and acknowledge is that finance is the backbone of any industry, right? So whichever industry you may be in, finance is something that's essential, and you as an entrepreneur need to focus on finance. So that is something I would like to remind you all about. So
Sangeetha, your network is, I think, a little weak. Your audio is
now again,
breaking.
why is it your business exists? I'd like to know why does it exist? Is it better now?
Yeah, now it is getting better, Sangeetha. The last part of it people missed because the audio was breaking.
Okay, okay. So I'm so sorry about it. 1 minute. Let me just see if I can change my connection, and
Yes,
maybe it
please.
will get
Sure,
better.
sure.
Yes, I have changed it. I hope it is better now. If not, I can switch again. I have 3 or 4 different sort of connections here, because I
Sure.
know technology can sometimes be challenging. If you can't hear me or not clear anything, please
No,
let
it
me
is
know.
better. It
Is
is
it better
better
now?
now.
Okay.
Maybe the last part of it you may have to repeat a bit.
No worries. So I was saying that finance is the backbone of any industry, whichever industry you may be in, however big, however small your businesses are. Finance is the backbone, and you as an entrepreneur, you have to pay some amount of attention to your finance, right? So that is what I was trying to tell you. And now I would, like to hear from you on why does your business exist? Why does your business exist? So go ahead, post in the chats. I would love to hear from you and understand what your thought process are on why your business exists. Why is it that you're doing this, whatever business that you may be doing? Who wants to go first? Create value. Okay, very good, Nizar. What else? Go ahead. There's nothing right or wrong. So I'm just curious to know what is it that you are thinking. Financially viable, great, Prabhakar. That's what I was expecting. Just that there is a need, okay. Provide skilled team to get things done, living your ambitions, absolutely. Yes, great. So I am able to take care of employees and their families. Wow. Right, awesome. So great to earn money. Yes, absolutely. To do something different, need of customer, financial dependency, technology upgrade. Yes, awesome. I love your thought process, but I would just like to take a pause and remind you here, whatever business, however big or small, I know you are very passionate about your business, but one reason that's common for all businesses is a business is meant to make profits, meant to make money. Now, I know this is like a kind of a controversial topic because many people say, no, I'm here to create value. I'm so passionate. I want to add value. Yes, I definitely agree to all of that. But my question is, you can do all this even in a charity. So if if you're running a business, you might as well see how the business is able to grow financially as well, right? So that's something I would like you all to think over. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. It's how you look at it. But then if you're so passionate, you can might as well do charity and not call it a business. So that is what I wanted to highlight, to see how important is it for you to grow your business in financial terms, right? So I have a little song here for you, right? It goes like this. I believe you can fly high. Your business can touch the sky. If you work every night and day, manage finance right away. I believe you can fly high. Right? So that is what I wanted to tell you, that all the businesses have a lot of potential to fly high. Now, thank you. What does fly high mean? Fly high is an acronym. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up here. I'm an acronym person. I love giving a lot of acronyms simply because it's easier to remember. What does fly high stand for? Finance, leadership, and your high performance. Now, why does this become important? Simply because as a leader, you can drive high performance amongst your team, which will result in financial success and growth of your business. So that is why it's very important that you as a leader should know where to focus on. Now, high performance leads to higher profits. So, and you as a leader can steer the business ahead. Now, these are my two books, like they had told you. One is called What the Finance, which is a national bestseller, and the other is called Get High, which is how to coach yourself for high performance in the work that you do. Now, What the Finance has a lot of insights from many successful entrepreneurs, and it gives you very easy and practical tips that you can do in your business from a finance perspective. And Get High is also been endorsed by many industry experts. Now, wait for the end of the talk, and I'm going to give away these books as free for you because you guys have been great audience. So just hang on, end of the talk, you can expect few takeaways from me and to see how you can fly high, right? So that is the thing about fly high. So now let's get started. The first thing that we were talking about is on the financial management, right? Now, how many of you have a finance strategy in place for your business? Can I please see some show of hands or thumbs up? Do you have a finance strategy in place? Yes, I see Paul raising. Okay, good. So for the benefit of others, what is a finance strategy? Now, if you were to kind of define what is finance strategy, it is to say managing your financial resources by pursuing your business objectives in order to achieve your financial goals, right? So basically, what are you able to achieve and how are you able to achieve your financial goals with the amount of resources that you have, and that needs to be in the line with your business objectives. Now, how many of you have business objectives? Do you know what your business is meant to be doing, right? So based on this, you can design your finance strategy of your business. Now, when I say finance strategy, we spoke about the financial goals, right? Financial goals are something that's very important for your business, because I have noticed many entrepreneurs who I've been coaching, they don't seem to have defined their financial growth. It seems very generic. Oh, yes, I want to grow, but when, where, how, by how much? A lot of them are still unclear. So, how can you go about by defining the right sort of financial goals? That's what we can discuss today. So, like I said, I'm an acronym person. The acronym I'd like to share with you here that you can easily stands for. T stands for the time frame. So when you're coming up with your financial goals, break them down. How do you break them down? Into long term, medium term, and short term. So what are the financial goals of your business over a long term, over the medium term, and in the short term? What is it that your business can succeed financially? Because otherwise you're like a headless chicken. You're going around, not knowing which direction, which is the right way, so on and so forth. And that makes it important for you to define these financial goals. Define it very clearly. It could normally, what I've seen is, when I say financial goals, most entrepreneurs think it's just the top line growth. While top line growth is definitely important, also equally important are, for instance, your margins, your profits. What about the free cash flow that you have? What sort of cash reserves that you want to have? Maybe you want to declare better dividends, or you want to purchase some capex, or you want to grow the number of your headcount. It can be n number of different reasons, but what I'm trying to say is, it's over and above just the top line growth. So you need to look beyond the top line growth and have these things clearly stated for your business, and that will give you a whole lot of clarity. And like you notice, all these things are interlinked. Now the business is like a vehicle, and all these aspects of business, they need to go together. That's when your business can succeed financially. So once you have your team, your financial goals in place, you need to communicate this to your team, because by communicating it, your entire team is also aligned to this cause, and they know why they are working. Because, like Simon Sinek says, start with why. Why is it you're doing what you're doing? Does your team have the clarity on it? Do they know why they are supposed to be doing what they're doing, and what sort of thought process is going on in your head, and what are the targets that they need to accomplish for the success of your business? So that's something that you need to focus on, and therefore I would urge you to communicate to your teams as well. And have your business plan ready. Your business plan is like the Bible for your business, and while it's not mandatory to have one, it's essential to have a business plan and update it periodically. When was the last time you updated a business plan? If you've had one, right? And keep checking on it periodically, how your business has been progressing from where you started. And don't forget to make necessary changes as you progress along. So business plan is something that's important. To manage your business financially better, what sort of financial tools can you take care of? I'm going to share some basic financial tools. I'm sure you all are aware of it, but how effectively are you using these tools is something I would like you to think about. First, of course, the starting point is to have a budget. Now, prepare your budget, and remember, a budget has to be realistic. A budget is not a wish list. There's a lot of difference between the two, right? I have noticed many entrepreneurs who say, "Oh, I want my turnover to double or triple." Yes, it's great, but are you being realistic? Is it possible? These are questions that you need to ask yourself. So remember, a budget needs to be something that's realistic, right? So prepare a budget. And then when You should also ensure that you are reviewing your financials periodically, definitely month on month. Now, many entrepreneurs I know, they look at the numbers only at the end of the year. Now, that's not how it needs to. You need to be looking at it periodically. Now, I would like to see some comments in the chat. How often do you review your financials, your financial statements? How often do you all review as entrepreneurs? Yes, go ahead, post your comments in the chat. Are you looking at it every month, every week, or is it just that you look at it at the end of the year when your auditor comes and tells you, please sign it monthly? Oh, great, excellent, excellent. Two people who have told telling me that they look at it monthly. Every fortnight. Wow, you guys are awesome. That's really, really nice. Excellent, excellent. So if you're reviewing it so meticulously, do you also compare it with your budget, and do you do a variance analysis? Do let me know in the chat again if you do a variance analysis. And I'll tell you why variance analysis can be very important. Simply because it tells you the gap in your business. No, Pratap, okay? Thanks for admitting it, Pratap. So it will be great if you can get started on doing the variance analysis, simply because, like I said, it tells you the gap, the financial gap in your business. I can even give you real life examples, in a particular month, when the entrepreneur is looking through the financials, one of the line of expense was very huge. Now, he knew that they hadn't overspent, but he wasn't sure why the amount had shot up. Now, in the variance analysis, since this came up, he was able to pull up his, the finance team, and when they scrutinized it in detail, they realized that one of the invoices was duplicated, which is what caused a huge amount as the variance. Similarly, another entrepreneur, he realized that the profits seemed extremely huge in a particular month, and in reality, he knew it was a normal month and there was nothing for the profits to again soar. And why did that happen? Because again, the accounts team had accounted for an invoice duplication. So things like this can definitely be controlled, and not only that, you will be able to take better charge and you will be able to control the finances of your business in a much better way. So variance analysis is something that's important. And then you have your cash flow. Cash flow, how many of you even know right now what is the amount of money in the bank that you have for your business right now? I would like to see some hands and whatever, or post in the chat box, because many people do not know what is the cash balance, and that because of that they are not able to take the right financial decisions. So it's important for you to know this and also prepare like a cash forecast, right? So that is going to help you. And don't worry, we are going to be discussing about the cash a little more in detail in the following slides. So I will leave the cash on a pause right now. And that apart, another important financial tool is your ratio analysis. There are different sorts of ratio that are applicable in your business. It could be like your gross margin ratio, your net margin ratio, your current assets, your current liabilities, which is nothing but your working capital ratio, so on and so forth. What is your return on capital employed? I mean, you have umpteen number of ratios that will need a separate talk by itself. So I'm not jumping into it. But the important aspect is, as to be successful entrepreneurs whose business has to be grown, to maximize the potential of your business, it'll be great if you can focus on all these financial aspects of your business. So another important tool that you could go through is, now, how many of you are cricket fans? Post in the chat box. Yes, I see Gopi raising his hands. Okay, great. So, in cricket, you have like this scorecard. I'm not a great cricket fan, but I'm just giving you drawing parallels where you have just the scorecard, right? It just tells you at a quick glance, how the game is heading, how the game has been progressing. Now, it'll be great if you can prepare something similar for your business as well. So that is nothing but a finance dashboard. Now, many people have this dashboard, but I am talking about a dashboard that will give you a quick story, just like a 5-second glimpse. You look at it, you should know how your business is progressing. Where's your business being headed to, right? So what are the things that, you can have is financial parameters that are extremely critical and crucial for your business. So, for instance, obviously it can have your top line, it can have your bottom line, it can have your cash position. And apart from that, these things are probably common across all businesses. But apart from that, what else can you have? Now, if your business is a lot dependent on headcount. Now, if the objective of the business is to grow in headcount can be a parameter. Other parameters can be, for instance, like the number of branches that you have. Supposing you have a network, a large network, the number of branches, the different regions, the number of customers that you want to have. Now, what is your outstanding situation looking like? I mean, you have to customize this for your business. Based on your business, whatever are the requirements, whatever areas that you need to pay attention as an entrepreneur, put down all these key critical things in the dashboard. You can always get your finance team to prepare this so that you can just review, and at one glance you know how the business is and what actions need to be taken. So have this 5-second dashboard prepared and review it probably weekly or at least bi-weekly, so that you know how the business is going, and if you should take any corrective actions, you know that it can be taken then and there, and you're not procrastinating things, right? So that is on the financial goals. Now, moving to financial decision making. Now, we always, as humans, we get caught up in dilemmas. Uh, we are driven by emotions, right? Now, this is very common because after all, end of the day, we are all humans, and emotions definitely play a huge role. But when it comes to business, we need to look at it rationally as well, right? Should be ruled by the head and not just by the heart. But like I said, if the heart is ruling, what can you do? Take your decisions based on awareness, right? Whatever decision that you're taking, it may be is it really good for the business? Is it in the best interest of your business? And more than that, even if it is not, definitely there are times when we have to, not just look at the financial benefit of the business. There are things that are much beyond. So if there is something much beyond, I'm only saying take it with awareness, because once you have this awareness, your perception changes. The way you look at your business might not be the same. Balanced scorecard. Yes, Nizar, balanced scorecard is also okay. You can do it, right? So when it comes to this financial decision, take it with a lot of awareness. So I'll give you another small acronym here. Now, this is not my acronym. This is, I don't know how many of you have read this book. It's called The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Halvey. It's an excellent book. And in that, he has said, you know, and I'm using it here in the context of financial decision making. The acronym is STOP. STOP, stop. Now, what does it stand for? S is to take a step back. Now, before you want to make any decisions, any financial decisions for your business, just take a moment, step back. Now, if you are overly involved in the business, sometimes your thoughts are fogged and you may not have the clarity. So just step back for a moment, look at it. And T is to think. So when you step back, you get better clarity. So think, is it the best thing for the business? Is it the right thing for the business? So just think about it. O is to organize your thoughts, right? And organize yourself to see what action needs to be taken. And P is to proceed. So thereafter you proceed, and then you have better clarity, and probably you're taking the best decision for the business. So that can be a good way for you to come up with the right financial decisions for your business. So remember to do that. Next, I want to talk to you about, under financial management, the business wheel, right? Now, any business, how big or small or whatever industry, like you notice here, these are the different functions of a business that contribute to maximizing your business potential. Now, what are they? It's your strategy, it's the people, that includes yourself, your customers. They play a very vital role because your business is there to serve your customers. Yes, Chandra, thank you so much for putting it in the chat box. That's exactly what stop means. You guys are very interactive and I love it. Please keep the momentum going. What are the other business functions? Your operations, whatever business operations you're into. And then, of course, is finance, which you have to pay attention to. And then, yes, technology. Technology is something so important. How are you leveraging on technology for your business? Because that can be a game changer for your business. Marketing. I have noticed many entrepreneurs who kind of shy away from marketing themselves, but hey, in this world, in this time, you need to market yourself, because if there is a customer who's looking exactly for the kind of services or the products that you're into, how will he know that you and your business are existing? So go ahead and market yourself to the right target audience. And then your suppliers or your vendors, because they need to give you the input so that your business can go on in a smooth manner. So these are the main aspects, the business wheel of your business, and you need to think differently, right? Because by doing the same things again and again, you are kind of caught up at the same level. But if you start looking at things from a different perspective, by doing things differently, that can help you to grow. I'll take a pause here and tell you this small incident that I observed. I was at a friend's place, which has a lot of a multi-story building, her apartment, and then there is, and she is like in one of these top floors, I think eighth floor or something like that. And then we hear a very loud voice that is going down the streets, a person, a vegetable cart vendor. Now, I was curious. I was wondering, how is it that we are able to hear him so loud and clear in the top floor of the apartment? And you know what this guy did? Indians are known for jugaad, right? So the little jugaad this guy had done was very simple. So he had recorded his voice on his mobile, right, and attached it to a loudspeaker. So while he has customers to whom he's supplying, he just hits this play in his mobile, and through the loudspeaker it is amplified. So what does he say is, he gives the prices. He says, tomatoes, so much per kilo, onion is this much, potato, whatever. So whoever thinks it's a good deal, they come down and buy vegetables from him. And of course, they are saved the trouble of going to a shop. So these are like simple things that can be done. And all it takes is to just think slightly out of the box and see how you can improve and maximize your potential. Again, I'd like to take a pause and like to hear from all of you. Does your business have a purpose? A purpose, vision, mission, values, are all these stated clearly? Now, the reason I'm asking you this, a client of mine, which is a huge listed company, and it's been run by the second generation. When I was coaching them, I'm told they do not have a purpose. The business does not have a stated purpose. All that they were looking for is financial growth, right? While financial growth and profits and everything is a given thing, but what is it that you can have much beyond, right? That is something that's very important. So again, I would like to know if your business has a purpose, so that others can also learn from it. Go ahead and type in the chat box, what is the purpose of your business, irrespective of the nature, the kind of industry, and the volumes. So go ahead and post in the chat box. Who wants to go? Let me start. Probably simple money. Yes, you see, money is definitely a given thing, like I said, Raj Mohammed, but you need to have something much beyond, like to create a brand, says Vishwanath. Thank you. So like, for instance, my mission is to enable, empower, and elevate entrepreneurs. Now, when I have this as a purpose, I know what I'm working towards, right? So purpose is freedom. Yes, absolutely. So it gives you the clarity. It knows what is it that you want to have. Now, create value for customer Shiva is a great thing, but a little generic. Now, it will be great if you can have it specific. Probably I would request you, how do you differentiate of purpose and objective? Yes, good question. I'll tell you how. And before that, I would like you to just Google on, popular brands like Kellogg's, for example, right? Check out their purpose, Google's purpose, Nike's purpose. Now all these, the key thing that you need to connect, you need to have in your purpose is it must have a connect with your customers, and your employees, that is your team, should also be tuned into it, so that they know they're working for a cause, something that's just beyond the finance and monetary terms. So by having this clearly stated, right, that will give you the clear direction in which you need to pass. These are all good things, Ravi, but rather generic. So it will be good to have like clearly stated things, right? So if you look at all these, some of these examples that I gave you, it will give you much better clarity of purpose, and you can design yours based on them. That will give you some amount of inspiration. Oh, am I breaking up? I'm sorry about that. Create premium apartments at reasonable cost. Yes, good. That sounds a little better. To provide simple and affordable ERP solutions. Yes. So you can say by providing those ERP solutions, how their life is transformed, the life of the business, right? So if you can kind of give that connect, right? By simplifying it or making it easy, or that helps the ERP solutions to uh, for the business's growth or something like that. If you can tie it up, Tariq, that will be wonderful. So think about your purpose, go ahead and get it defined. It's not something you need to do it overnight, but you can think through and then do it. Yes, mission, vision, value, yes, and the purpose. These are all different things you need to clearly state for all of
Sangeeta,
this. Now, somebody had asked me the difference between the purpose and the objective. The purpose, like I said, these examples that I've given you. The objective, yeah, yes.
voice is again breaking a little, Sangeeta.
Customer satisfaction, yes, yeah. So you could have yeah, I have again changed my connection, so I hope it is better now.
Yeah, it's getting better now.
Is it okay? Yeah. Okay, okay, sure. All right, okay. Yes. So, yeah, as I said, you need to have all of these things in place: your mission, your vision, your value, your purpose, all of these. Can the purpose change over a period of time? Yes, definitely, Arun. It could change because as your business evolves, it does tend to change also sometimes. But the important thing is you need to communicate it. Communicate it to your teams, to your customers, to your stakeholders, so that everybody is in the same page and the business has to be heading in the direction of the purpose. So that is what I wanted to share with you on the purpose. Now, before we move on, again, I want to tell you a small little story here. This is about one of my clients. His name is Ramesh, hypothetically. Okay, so Ramesh has been a first generation entrepreneur, and guess what? He had this dream when he started his business that he wanted his business to reach 100 crores. Now, that was like his dream and his vision for his business, and he worked relentlessly on it. And I think in about 12 to 13 years, Ramesh achieved this 100 crore turnover, and it was an aha moment. But once he had achieved that, you know, he took a moment's pause, and then he felt he was not greatly happy about it. Now, why was that? Because he realized that it was not the case in his bottom line. In fact, in some years, even in absolute terms, the profits were much lesser. And that's when he realized, instead of focusing so much and, doing so much for the top line growth, if he had taken some time out and also focused on the bottom line by having better financial controls and so on and so forth, his profits could have also grown very significantly. So that was something that he realized. So why am I telling you this story is to talk about the financial jaws. Now, what are the financial jaws of your business? Right now, let's say over a period of time, maybe 5 years or 10 years, if you take, just plot in a graph, how has the top line of your business grown? Okay, assuming it's grown like this. What about the bottom line, the profits? How has the profits grown? Now, if both the revenue has grown and the profit has also grown, and if they are, trending in a similar fashion, yes, the growth has been significant. But like you see in this image, there are cases where the top line is grown, but then the bottom line has fallen. If that's the case, then it's not really financially healthy for your business. So I would like you all to, maybe after the session, do this simple exercise to see how your business has progressed. So that will be an indicator for you, which will tell you whether the efforts that you've taken for your business, for the growth of your business, is it really been in line with your vision, and or what is it that you need to set right in your business? Because many a times this has happened because of the lack of financial discipline. A lot of entrepreneurs I know, they say, oh, finance, my auditor is there, my accountant is there, they will take care, it is their responsibility. But my friends, let me tell you something, it is your business, and therefore the onus of finance lies with you. While you can definitely take advices from coaches, consultants, your mentors, your auditors, your accountants, anybody, everybody, take the advice. But end of the day, the financial decision making lies with you, because it is your business. And therefore, paying attention to the finances becomes very important. So to have good financial discipline, what are the things that you can do? So I'm just going to briefly touch upon these and give you some pointers, and then I'm going to also giving you some material at the end of our session. So you can resort to some of the best practices. Now, what are best practices? Best practices can be simple things like having good internal controls in place for your business, right? Who has the authority to approve? Now, if it's only you who has the authority to approve every time, then your time and energy is going to get drained, because you will be involved in every little aspect of the business, right? So if you can delegate some of this, not just from uh, an approval point of view, but things that can make better. The thing is, we feel only we are the best, we are the ones who know it very well, nobody can do it as good as us, and therefore we tend to hold it all within ourselves, right? And as a result, we do not tend to delegate, and this means you're getting burned faster. So it will be good if you're able to identify the right people, train them, and put systems in place, put processes in place, so that everything goes automatically, right? So that's something very important. So it's good to have internal controls. Apart from that, you can also have good policies and procedures in place, right? So different policies, like for instance, travel policy, leave policy, things like that, whatever is applicable for your business, it is good to define them, and not just have it here, but document these things. So that's important as well. Apart from that, compliance is something very important. In our country, we have so many rules and regulations, right? While some of them can tend to be a bit of a pain at times, it's wiser for you to you know ad- adhere to these compliances, because the cost of non-compliance is very high. So, and like there are cases where it also causes imprisonment. So might as well ensure you're compliant to everything, and also follow the industry benchmarks. Whatever industry that you may be in, if you're in the chemical industry, see how the chemical industry is functioning and take the industry benchmarks, and you can move on with that. So that is on the best practices. Now, any guesses? What does CSR stand for? Do you all see the CSR here? What does CSR stand for? I would like to uh, pick your thoughts there. What does CSR stand for? Go ahead, post it in the chat. What do you think? Corporate social responsibility. Yes, I was waiting for that, but this is not that CSR. Okay, great. Let me tell you. Okay, before that, how many of you are interested in growing your profits? Yes, yes, I do see a couple of hands up. Yes, awesome. Okay, so again, let me have the little song here for you. All the profit fans, hey, control your finance. All the profit fans, hey, control your finance. Business growth, 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 business growth. So if you want your business to grow, you need to take charge of your finances. So in that context, what does CSR stand for? It stands for cash management. That is the C. S stands for spend management, and R stands for revenue management. So you need to focus on all these three areas that will help your business to grow. And that is what you want as an entrepreneur, right? And that's how you can maximize the potential of your business, right? So what else? Let's look at the cash management. Let me again, share an acronym here for you, how you can manage your cash better. So the acronym you need to remember is cash. Cash for cash. Easy, right? So C stands for collect on time. The common mistake that I've seen is, many entrepreneurs, they are so passionate and so involved in the business that they sometimes don't tend to follow up on the dues, the business dues. So you don't collect on time. And by not collecting on time, your cash flow gets impacted, your debts start to age faster. And if there is a change management, or if your customer is in trouble or whatever reasons, then the further it gets, the more the delay, more difficult it becomes. So collect on time. Whatever are your credit terms, ensure you're collecting on time. A is to anticipate. Anticipate your cash in and cash out, right? So you must know how much of money you are going to receive and what is your outflow looking like. So that will give you a better perspective to take forward. Second is to systematically monitor. You should always have an eye in looking at your cash transaction. When I say cash, obviously cash and bank. So you need to systematically monitor them so that for instance, if there are any outstanding checks, or if there is any duplication by the bank or whatever. So you need to systematically monitor. And H is the habit of cash reserves. I'm sure 2020 has been a great year that is, teaching the importance of cash reserve, because I've noticed that businesses that have sufficient cash reserves have managed to tide over successfully. Therefore, see what is the kind of cash reserves your business needs, and ensure you have this cash reserve. So let me repeat what cash stands for. C is to collect on time, A is to anticipate your in and out, S is to systematically monitor, and H is the habit of reserves. So having said that, it's also essential for you to prepare a cash forecast. And cash forecast helps you in taking better financial decisions. Like, let me give you a small example of another client of mine. Now, like we know, in the month of October or November, we normally tend to have an extra payout because of the Diwali bonus, or, things like that. So this particular entrepreneur, he was wanting to invest in a new equipment, right? So while preparing this cash forecast, he realized that in the months of October and November, if he were to purchase, then the cash situation was not so comfortable for him. And therefore, he was able to plan his cash outflow in such a manner that he was able to get the equipment and also not ruin the smooth functioning of the business. So cash forecast, by preparing it, what is your cash in and what is your cash out? If you were to simply plot it down in an Excel sheet, that will give you a whole lot of insight on how you can plan better. So preparing a cash forecast becomes essential. And then, how many of you know the difference between cash profit and book profit? If you do know, do post in the chat. I would love to know what you think, or what, or if you know the difference between cash profit and book profit. Now, logically, I get asked this question many times. The fact that the transactions are all similar, but why is the cash profit different and why is the book profit different? Yes, Paul, excellent. It's avoid of depreciation, I assume, and I don't know what that is. So amortization, yes, absolutely. So there are three reasons that actually cause this difference. Like Paul said, one is depreciation. In depreciation, you have to account for it in your books, but then like we know, depreciation doesn't involve any cash outflow. The other thing could be your timing difference, right? Yeah, cash profit is the absolute one, but then your book profit becomes important if you're going for investors or you're going to the bank. So therefore, book profits also become important, Nizar. Yes, your receivables, yes. The timing difference, exactly, Nizar. So the timing difference happens when, let's say, your year end is 31st of March. You have raised an invoice, let's say, on the 15th of March. So that becomes your sale for that month and becomes your book profit. And the customer is, let's say, paying you only in May, right? So things like this, the timing difference causes. Similarly, your accruals, let's say your telephone bill, for instance, your March bill comes only in April. You have to pay it only in April. So timing difference like this causes one of the difference between your cash profit and your book profit. So these are normally the three main reasons: depreciation and amortization, your timing difference, and your accruals. Now, accruals also include, like, provision for leave salary, provision for gratuity, so on and so forth. So these differences normally cause the difference between your cash profit and book profit. And as an entrepreneur, both are important for you. So you need to manage it pretty well. So that is on the cash aspect. Now let's move on from C to the S, which is the spend management. Do you know why I have put a picture of an owl here? Any guesses? Why an owl? Post in the chat. It's to do with the spend. Lillian doesn't specs, yeah, doesn't wear specs during the day. Okay, yes. To keep your eyes open, great. Even when you're sleeping, what I would, wow, I love your answers. You guys are very creative. Yes, and now, like we know, is supposed to be very wise, right? And not only that, did you know, in fact, I didn't know this also till recently, owl is actually a mode of transport for goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. But yes, all your answers are very right. 360-degree view, it helps you in cost management. Owl is active and sees through at night. Absolutely right. So an owl, like we know, is known for its wisdom, right? So when it comes to spend, you need to act very wise. So that is what I wanted to tell you. Yes, have an eagle's eye, watch like an owl. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yes. So what does the spend management stand for? I mean, what is the acronym here I want to share with you is, what do we say? Take care, right? So care is the acronym that I want to share with you when it comes to spend management. What does it stand for? C stands for control. Are you in a position to control the expenses, right? Or are expenses just going amok in your business? So C is for control. A is for alternative, right? What sort of alternative exists? Now, let me give you examples for both. When I said control, now this happened in a multinational on the control. So the internal controls were not clearly defined. Now I'm tying this back to the internal controls that I spoke about last time. The internal controls weren't clearly defined. So what happened? One of the business heads, right? He went ahead and issued a purchase order to procure a license for the business. But then the management thought differently. Management decided they didn't want to procure this license. But it was a tad late because this guy had already issued the purchase order. Now, technically, he did not have the authority to sign the purchase order, though he was a senior person. He was not involved in signing, he did not have the authority to sign it. But since they had approved and since, they couldn't go back on this, it was a bit of a very tight situation for this company, but they went ahead and procured it only because this guy signed. So that's why I say, having internal controls is very important, and what sort of control mechanisms are in place. When I'm talking about alternatives, again, let me give you an example here. Now, like Chennai is sometimes known for power cuts, right? So in one of the huge office complexes, obviously the companies need power to go on, and therefore they were buying diesel. Now, diesel, for over long hours of use, the cost was pretty high. And as a substitute, subsequently, what they realized was they could actually use windmill energy. The cost was much lesser. So like that, look for alternatives. Do you even get quotes before you're buying things? So have all these things in place. So that's what I meant by control, and A is for alternatives. R, guess what it is? It's required. Is the spend even required for your business? Now, many people just go on, I am used to spending this amount for the business. But just take a moment's pause. Check, ask yourself, is this required, or can I do away without it? Like, for instance, now travel expenses have all reduced for businesses, and we realize how comfortable we have got, meeting virtually, right? So things like this is a expense required. So look at it from a critical perspective. And E is to enhance. Now, how expense enhance doesn't go, right? That's what I want to make you think, because what I would like you to think about is, by having an expense, how is it enhancing the business value, right? So let me give you an example again. So a particular another client of mine, they had a huge plush office in a very fancy building. Now, is it really contributing to the business growth? That's something you need to check. Or, if you have that amount, let's say if you were to spend in marketing expenditure, for instance, marketing at least can contribute to the growth of the number of customers, right? So at least you are able to see a linkage. But having a plush office may not really translate to it. But you should take this, in a calculated manner, because if the particular example I gave you, let's say they were in the business of interior design, then it's important that they showcase that they have a very good office, because when the clients walk into their office, they know what capabilities can this particular business offer me. So there is no one standard size that fits all, so take your pick wisely. So that is on the spend management. Let me repeat. C is control, A is alternative, R is required, and E is enhance, right? So then let's move on to the R, which is your revenue management. So revenue, obviously all of us want the top line to grow for a business, right? So while doing that, you need to ensure that there are no revenue leakages. How efficiently are you able to plug revenue leakages? And then you need to have the right sort of pricing strategy, right? Because price becomes a key aspect when it comes to closing a sale transaction. So are you having the right pricing strategy? And then what are the ways to grow your revenue? Is it that can you introduce newer verticals, or is it that you want to spread to newer geographies, just go ahead and get newer customers? So what is it? Where is your business focusing on? So that is the CSR part of the business that I was telling you. So from here, let's move on to the last topic. So which is, let me share a little story here for you. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard of this fake steak syndrome. It's a terminology that I have coined based on an experience. So let me share this incident that happened recently with me. And this was, a particular entrepreneur suddenly said, can I meet you for some time? So I said, yeah, sure. Why not? Because I'm on a mission, like I said, to enable, empower, and elevate businesses. So this particular entrepreneur was a tech entrepreneur, and asked me if I knew suitable investors to invest in the business. Now, having spoken to many entrepreneurs and having helped many and being a coach, I sensed that this particular entrepreneur was, it was more than what the words meant, because I could see some sense of pain in the eyes and a lot of despair in the voice. So I knew there was something a little beyond than just an investor. And therefore, I got into a coaching conversation and, started getting to know what the truth was. Now, the fact was they wanted an investor only to solve the cash flow issues. Now, the entrepreneur admitted that even though the business was running successfully for some time, the cash started becoming a hassle month on month. And obviously, they had sleepless nights, and it was very disturbing emotionally as well, because the entrepreneur felt this could not be discussed with the spouse or with the kids or even the employees. So, it was something that was all pent up from within. So finally, in the conversation, the entrepreneur poured out, the grief and felt much lighter. Now, the entrepreneur also admitted that, being a techie, the focus was not there on finance. So at the end of the coaching conversation, what did we realize? The entrepreneur had three vital things that he realized. A new investor is going to solve the problem only on a temporary basis. So what actually needed to be fixed was a better working capital management, right? And the revenue model that was being adopted was incorrect. So the fake steak syndrome is nothing that, you're just wanting the steak to temporarily plug this gap. But instead, if you were to go to the root cause, find out what it is and address the root cause, then it becomes a lot healthier. And after that, you may or may not need the investment as well. Now, again, before going in for an investor, it is essential for you to understand the pros and the cons, right? Like everything has pros and cons, right? So by having a new investor on board, it means you have to part with your equity, which means you're parting your profits. And probably all along, you're used to running the business only by yourself, and you have been the boss. There's nobody been there to question you. But the equation changes the moment that you have an investor. I would also like you to think, now, if you were to look in the past, there have been so many businesses that have managed to grow successfully without any investors or investment. At the most, they have taken a bank loan. But yet, even without investments, they have managed to be so successful. They have managed to grow organically. Now, how different is it now? I know the answer that you may want to say if you're keen on getting an investment is that an investor and having an investment can actually speeden up your growth, which is true, and I do agree with you. But my only job is to make you think if the investor and the investment can really be of value add to you and your business, right? So that is what I meant by the fake steak syndrome. So watch out for the fake steak syndrome and just don't go for it for the sake of solving your issues temporarily, but rather address it from the root cause. How many of you want to know how to go ahead and pitch to the investors? Post in the chat box. Do you want to know how, despite this, you are really serious about having an investor, and if you are really keen on having an investor for your business and how you should be pitching to your investors? Post in the comment. Yes. Thank you. So now you know I'm an acronym person, so I'm going to give you another acronym here. What is the acronym? Pitch for pitch, right? So when you're meeting your prospective investors, how is it that you need to be pitching for them? So first P is, what is the problem that your business is solving, right? What is the purpose of your business? So the P stands for the purpose and the problem that's being solved. So address it to say, this is what my business is, the problem my business is going to solve. I is the investment required. What is the amount of investment that you want from the investor? T is the team composition. Now, it could include you, it could include your mentors, your coaches, some industry experts, maybe your one-downs, your co-founders, whoever, but give a composition of the team so that they know what sort of expertise the team is able to bring about. C is the customer acquisition and the market strategy. How is it you're planning to acquire more customers, and how are you, planning to go to the markets? What sort of markets? How are you planning to penetrate newer markets? Whatever, give an overview of that. And H is the high level numbers. Now, how how has the business performed financially in the past, and what does the projections look like, right? So you need to address all this, and then you also here need to say how the investor will get benefited by investing in your business, because that's something key. What is in the what is in it for the investor that he has to invest in your business. So think through that, address those aspects. So that is why pitch, these are the critical areas of the pitch. So let me repeat: P is the problem that it's solving, I is the investment required, T is the team composition, C is the customer acquisition and market strategy, and H is the high level numbers. When I say numbers, obviously it's your financial numbers as well. So that is how you need to go and pitch to your prospective investors. Now, since you've all been amazing, wonderful audience, very interactive and very attentive, I would like to, give you guys sample chapters of my book, What the Finance, also Get High. So what I will do is I will post this in the chat box, so feel free to download it, and if you like it, please feel free to go and read the entire book. The book is available on Amazon, Flipkart, and many other online portals. So I will, yes, sure, Gokul, yes, it is available. I'll also share you these samples during the course of time. And oops, sorry, and apart from that, I have actually 4 takeaways for all of you. I will be sharing it in the chat box. And yes, I also have my YouTube channel. By now, you know how much I love acronyms. My channel is called Sang which is an abbreviation of my name. So I keep sharing periodically finance mantras. And then I also had like a 21-day money challenge, different sort of things. So basically, I focus, on high performance, leadership, and business finance. So feel free to subscribe and look through and learn from my YouTube channel. And yes, I would love to connect with all of you. These are my coordinates. I'm active on LinkedIn as well, and also Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So please feel free to connect with me. I will be more than happy to connect with all of you. And yes, I would like you all to summarize your takeaways. So we have been discussing for so long. So what is it that you have learned? What is it that you are planning to implement in your business? And how did you like the session? All of these things I would like to know. And also before that, what I would want to tell you is I conduct workshops, like I said, on finance, high performance, and leadership. So if any of you are interested, please let Gopi know. And then, I do group sessions as well. Groups of just about 15 people, not more. So if you're interested and if you want to know anything more on finance, or in fact, if you want to plan your next financial year, I'm ready to, work with you and help you. So I do both group sessions and individual sessions as well. So if you're interested, please let Gopi know, and then, we can fix a session at a mutually convenient date and time. It can be virtual, or if you're in Chennai, we could also meet in person and do it. I leave that to your choice. So that's something, yes. And now I would definitely love to hear your takeaways. What did you learn? What are you planning to implement in your business? And if there are any Q&A, I'm open for that as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Sangeetha. It was quite a mesmerizing session, I can say, to
Thank
all
you.
the entrepreneurs, because a lot of entrepreneurs do look upon, advice on their financial discipline as well as finance management, because they are quite engrossed in solving day-to-day problems and growing their business.
True.
And it was a great session. We can truly call you an acronym person.
Thank you for that. And I am also, I'm just shared the What the Finance thing
Link.
here. You feel free to download it.
Yeah.
And I am also sharing, apart from Get High, I'm also sharing financial health assessment of your business, so that how your business is. It's a self-assessment questionnaire. Thank you, Harichandran. So you can just you yourself can assess to see how your business has been functioning, and take necessary corrective actions that can be taken. And as I said, I have 4 takeaways. I'm posting everything in the chat box. And lastly, why you need a coach and how a coach can actually contribute to the growth of your business. So you can just read through all of these, and the books, yeah, as I said, you can always pick it up and uh, let me know how you enjoyed. Thank you for the acronyms. Yes.
Sure, sure. Now, what we can do is, going forward, we can also organize a few dedicated workshops where people are interested. We will post it in our group.
Absolutely.
We'll gather up our members who are interested in, I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to managing their finances properly.
Sure.
So we
Sure.
can organize focused workshops also in our forum going
Right.
forward.
Right.
Gopi will start working on that. And yes, apart from the takeaways that you have given in terms of the ebook right now, the samples,
Yes.
in terms of listening today, there have been a lot of takeaways for people, on the financial goals, financial discipline, the kind of decision making process that you need to do,
Right.
doing things differently,
Yes.
and not to stop with your acronyms on stop, care, CSR, pitch. And
Yes.
pitching is something again a lot of people may be interested.
Yes.
So let us see how it goes. And now we do not see a lot of questions coming on the chat box because people have been responding, and it was quite an interactive session today. But then we would like to open the mics for people. They can raise their hand and we can have an interactive session if you have some time.
Yes, please. Yes, I am open to answer.
Yeah. Request members to kindly raise their hands so that we can unmute. And
I'm very glad to meet my friend Mr. Vishwanath after a very long time.
I believe you are a marathoner as well.
Yeah, I used to be. I've done marathons and triathlons, but yeah, these days my focus is now on all this, so I haven't really found much time for that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's open up the mics, and members kindly unmute yourself. Sujata, you can, to start with you can unmute and ask.
It was a wonderful session, and I really enjoyed it. And your acronyms are something really fantastic. And I'm really looking forward to attending workshops from your end. I have one question for you. I don't know whether it's the right forum to ask, but anyway, does the gender play a negative impact when it comes to women entrepreneurs?
If you were to honestly ask me, I think women are excellent when it comes to finance management, because even if you were to take the past generation, I mean, look how a household has been run. Even with very tight budgets, the women has been managing the show extremely well. Even when there is a shortage, they know how well to manage. So I think gender actually plays, in our favor. That's my personal view. Yeah. And
Okay.
even when you go vegetable shopping or something, how well we negotiate, we bargain, we try to get the best out of it, right? Now, compare
Yeah.
that with the male. So I think women are actually double thumbs up there.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, over to Elmaran.
One second.
Hi, Errol.
Hi, ma'am. How are you? Ramalachi.
How are you?
Good, ma'am. Good, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, as a stakeholder, as a business நம்ம பண்ற ஒரு பிசினஸ்ல வந்து மேஜரா யார் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செகண்ட் தேர்ட் அந்த ஸ்டெப்ஸ் இருக்குல்ல, யார் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேக் ஹோல்டர் இஸ் எம்ப்ளாயிஸ் ஆர் சப்ளையர்ஸ் ஆர் அந்த அந்த ஒரு ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி வேணும். யாருக்கு ஒரு 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 மந்த்துக்கு வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேமெண்ட் யாருக்கு பண்ணணும், செகண்ட் பேமெண்ட் யாருக்கு பண்ணணும், ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கிளாரிட்டி கொடுக்க முடியுமா? ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு ஐடியா.
So இது வந்து you're asking from a cash perspective, is it?
Yes.
Yes. So in fact, I have shared this as a finance mantra there in my YouTube channel on how you should prioritize. So there's no hard and fast rule. This is just my thought process. So first I say it's to do with your business operations, right? So yeah, so your business operations, only if your business is able to operate can you generate some revenue. So first should be for your business operations. Then comes your legal aspects, because like I said, cost of non-compliance is very high. So it could even result in imprisonment, or more than anything, we know how it is in our country. It takes a very long time. So you might as well do your the legal obligations, and then you can look at your investments. Any like capital expenditure, any equipment or something that will directly impact the growth of your business. So you can look at your investments, and then next is to set aside money for your cash reserves, right? So set aside money for your cash reserves, and whatever is left over and above that, it can be for all your general expenses. So this can be a good way for you to prioritize your cash.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
I want to ask a question. Hi, Sangeetha.
Hi, how are you?
Good. After a long time, I never knew you are a coach and things like that. I see on the roads. Anyway, the question is, these foreign companies focus more on cash flow and brand building, whereas in India we are more focused on profits. Labam. That's what we start the day with, which is like because they seem to have really long-term strategy. They burn a lot of money in creating brand and value, whereas in India they're always worried about the bottom line. And so, I mean, how does one balance these things?
So one thing is, most of these companies have a lot of money power, and if you're very sure to get back the kind of money that's been invested, so then you don't really look at profit because you probably have other sources, or like you have very good investments, and you're sure to recover this, let's say over 3 years or 5 years, whatever. When you have that clarity and when you're sure, yes, you can go. But like you said, our Indian mindset is that we need profits, and profits is something like, end of the year you get to know if you're profitable or not. So it is a matter of personal choice, but I think the West looks at it, like you said, in a long-term basis, provided they are able to get back that money. There have been decisions that have gone wrong. We also know of many companies that have closed down because, if you notice, one of the key reasons many businesses fail is because lack of proper financial management. So it is very subjective. There's no like one same answer for everybody. It varies, person to company to company.
Yeah. Is it also due to social pressures? Like, here people suck money out of a profitable running business and invest in non-profit things like house and car and, daughter's wedding and these kind of things. Because most people start business for social, to achieve social status than for really running business for the business sake.
Very, very true. So thanks for bringing this up, because one of the other common mistakes that I've noticed is entrepreneurs don't differentiate the money of the business and their personal money. They, use it interchangeably, which is something totally wrong. So how do you address this? So I would say pay yourself a salary each month. Now, if you were employed in another company, you would be getting a salary, right? So equivalent of that, pay yourself salary, and at the end of the year, if there are sufficient profits, you can always declare it out as dividends. But it's essential to have this sort of differentiation. Otherwise, when the business is doing bad, you keep pumping in money, your personal money, and when the business is doing well, you're taking out, and then you lose traction of it, which doesn't help the business to grow actually. So therefore, it is very vital to segregate these two aspects of the business. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yes, thanks, Sangeetha. There is a post by Chandra, our 79 batch senior. We always try to make customers happy and get their feedback. Most companies do not bother about customers. The customer is the most important purpose of our business.
Excellent. Excellent.
Your views on that?
Yes. See, these are your personal choices. I don't know what business you're into, but yes, definitely it is important to look at the customer's customer, because only when the customer is doing well will your customer do well, and thereby your business. So that is also important. And in fact, so is the case with your supplier, because if your supplier is not in a position to supply to your supplier, your business also gets impacted, especially if you're in the manufacturing side.
Very true.
So yes, so both these are definitely important aspects. Yes.
Yeah, please. Someone, can you please ask your question?
Yeah, my name is Rao. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one doubt always. You see all American companies, they rule entire world. You see small, even they start with small burger or even Coke with some soft drink, or entire globe they will capture. How they are able to do this? They, just because they come from Ivy League colleges, they teach all kind of things. What they start with local vision and they expand it to global vision. How they are able to manage, and why we are unable to manage like this. So I always wonder what is the magic with them, how they are able to manage successfully entire global business.
Right, right. So while they are definitely successful, I think we are in no way inferior compared to them. We can also definitely, get there. And I think there are companies like, for example, Zoho and all has been going global, and many other companies. So I think we are definitely there. But irrespective of it's abroad or in India, what I think is, we need to look at a business on a very holistic manner. Now, if you were to look only at your, focus only on your customers or just your top line growth, and you neglect other aspects, then that amount of success may not be there. But I always say business, like I showed you the business wheel, there are different aspects of the business, and each aspect is very important because all of them contribute to the growth of the business. Now, you should look at the business wheel, each of these functions. Now, business were to be a vehicle that needs to move ahead. Each of these functions become the wheel of the vehicle, and all of them will have to move together at the same pace, and that's when the vehicle can propel ahead. So that's the case with the business as well. So if we focus only on certain areas and tend to neglect the rest, then it may not be as holistic. So you need to look at it in a very holistic manner. That's my thought process. And yeah, also invest in the right talent, because I think people are the essence of any business. So having the right talent and communicating with them, brainstorming, many times they will have better ideas compared to us because they are the ones who are actually working on the field. So it's essential to interact with them and together build the company. That's my view there.
Thanks, Sangeetha. I think the Q&A, if anyone has a question.
Gopi sir is asking one question, sir. Sir, unmute, sir. Gopi sir. Sir, unmute, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Sangeetha. It was an excellent session. I have a small question for you.
Yes, please.
See, I'm trying to become an entrepreneur very soon. So before starting on the journey, what should you be prepared for? And what are the challenges we have to be prepared for in terms of finance and partnership relationship, maintenance, and emotional risk?
Right. Great. Firstly, congratulations on having taken that decision. Now, I'm sure with so many years of experience, you would have gained expertise on the different aspects. So already you have a head start compared to a fresher who's just starting out. So I'm sure you know about the different aspects of the business. So ensure from a finance perspective, all documentation is in place. The control aspects are clearly defined. Everything like simple things like I've had cases where people who are running a business, the close friend or a relative becomes an employee of the business. So because of the kind of rapport that you share, you don't give them like an appointment letter. So these are all bad practices. Whoever it may be, from a business perspective, you need to adhere to these basic disciplinary things so that at a later date you're not at in trouble because of that. So the documentation is important. Looking at the business holistically, preparing a business plan, having the vision, mission, goals, having all that in place helps.